Hello there everyone! It's been a few weeks since Godzilla Fest 29 happened, and I know everyone is excited to see what my thoughts are on this year compared to previous G-Fest outings. After gathering footage during the weekend and receiving more than I missed, thanks to some friends, and taking time to recuperate from the Kaiju festivities, I am ready to share my review of Godzilla Fest 2024. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Captain Glasses. I manage video content on Bat Productions and toy photography on The Obscure Brother on Instagram. I like to use my experiences attending local conventions, documenting events, exploring new toy stores, and collecting vintage and new toys to showcase my hobbies. I rarely post on this channel, but I'm trying to become more consistent with content from full-length videos to shorts. For those who have been waiting for this video since G-Fest ended, thank you so much for being patient, and I hope you all enjoy the video. For this review, I will put all aspects of the convention through a ranking of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. Starting off with the location, the Hyatt Regency O'Hare Hotel gets a 4.5 out of 5. Not only is it easily accessible for those staying at the hotel during the entire weekend, but it's also easily accessible for commuters since it's the closest hotel to the Rosemont CTA Blue Line. If you didn't stay at the Hyatt, the convention is within walking distance from other hotels like the Embassy Suites, Doubletree, Crown Plaza, and Aloft. The Hyatt is perfect for containing lines outside of Kaiju World, registration, and other rooms and events during the G-Fest weekend. Visitors also have the luxury of tuning in on a few channels full of kaiju films, documentaries, and tokusatsu shows, which I thought was pretty cool. This year, my group and I got a room on the ground floor, which is great for us to explore the entire convention and walk back to the hotel room when we need to drop off our stuff or turn in for the night. I knocked off half a point from the score because the hotel lacks a few essential things for hotel stays: complimentary breakfast, microwaves in rooms, and mini fridges for leftovers. I'm aware of the communal microwaves, but either guests have to travel a distance to find one, or there's a line of people using one on your floor. Only a few hotels in the Rosemont area offer complimentary breakfast, but they are exclusive to hotel-specific guests via wristbands and punch cards. The Hyatt has dining options, but it can be costly to the standard G-Fest attendee. My Road to G-Fest 2024 series recommends guests consider hotel dining as a last resort and consider going to the Fashion Outlet Mall food court or delivery from nearby restaurants. The lack of mini fridges is a huge concern for attendees who couldn't finish their meals and want to save them for later. While my group didn't have leftovers, I cannot say the same for other visitors staying at the Hyatt. There are beverage fridges, but as the name suggests, it only has enough to cool beverages, not store food overnight. This forces guests to add more luggage with a cooler, bring foods that don't need to be refrigerated, and throw away leftovers. Despite the minor drawbacks, the Hyatt is a near-perfect hotel to host medium-sized conventions like G-Fest, and I look forward to going back again next year. Registration gets a 4.5 out of 5. I was surprised to see that pre-registration badge pickup on Thursday was quick, easy, and stress-free. The same can be said for friends who went on individual days and bought on-site instead of online. This year, G-Fest upgraded name tags to badges, which is a welcome change, but the day ticket holders get a color-coded wristband. Friends who could only attend one day expressed disappointment as they wanted a badge to commemorate the con, since they collect badges at every convention they go to. Digital guidebooks make an appearance, with physical copies being sold at the registration desk. It wasn't too bothersome to attendees unless they wanted one as a memento or souvenir. Kaiju World gets a 4 out of 5. It's the first place every new or returning Godzilla Fest attendee visits. No matter which convention I go to, I'll always make a beeline for the dealer's hall or vendor's hall, and G-Fest is no exception. I spend the majority of my G-Fest at Kaiju World. I love exploring the booths, browsing their selection of figures, and finding items on my list without obliterating my finances. It's the most popular place amongst every attendee that goes to their first G-Fest. Some are willing to wait in line between 5 to 12 hours before doors open to get first dibs and deals on specific figures, DVDs, and box sets. So while I do enjoy the Kaiju World Vendors Hall at G-Fest, overcrowding and line management pose a problem. If you were at G-Fest, you would have noticed the crowd swarming the YMSF booth, which was in the middle front of the ballroom, and the upper left side where Langy's Comics and Vampire Robots are located. Kaiju World can be simultaneously spacious and claustrophobic. People would either want to stop and look at everything at a specific booth, and there will be others that try to squeeze through trying to get to a neighboring vendor. There were times when my friends and I wanted to go to the upper left area, but it was difficult to maneuver around everyone, where we just had to wait until the last hour of each day to get a better look. I understand that some booths are more popular than others, but there has to be a way to prevent overcrowding. YMSF in particular needs attention with line management, because I witnessed a few attendees cut through others to get their exclusive figures, much to the frustration of others waiting in line with me. YMSF has been getting more popular with their releases of Final Wars figures like Amanda, Kumanga, and Kamacuras. Since they sell in person at G-Fest, their booth tends to be the first stop that people go to on the first day. The Hyatt Ballroom is a great place to hold a vendors hall as it had enough space for the 40 vendors present. It just needs a little more wiggle room between booths so attendees don't block others from accessing the entire place. Overall, Kaiju World does well introducing new attendees to the world of Godzilla collecting. All the cool toys, shirts, banners, and merch are enough to overwhelm and delight fans of all ages. I still get excited and giddy whenever I enter the G-Fest Dealers Hall time and time again. It never gets old for me. Kaiju Island gets a 3.5 out of 5. It's nice of G-Fest to bring back Artist Alley in some capacity. While artists like Matt Frank, Bob Eggleton, Hiroshi Kanatani, and a few others appeared at G-Fest, the room it was located in was not ideal for crowds. There's either a long line outside throughout the day, it gets cramped easily, or the artist booths are blocked by people coming in and out. Again, it's not the fault of the staff. They're trying their best to limit the amount of people coming to Kaiju Island, but maybe a bigger space would help provide a lot of breathing room and less hassle. The Mecha G arcade gets a 4.5 out of 5. It's always a fun place to take a break from Kaiju World in the arcade room. One of G-Fest's sponsors, Galloping Ghost, brings vintage Godzilla games and cabinets that work in excellent condition. Gigabash, Godzilla Save the Earth, Godzilla Unleashed, and other kaiju and dinosaur fighting games also serve as additional entertainment for everyone to play when a tournament is not happening. The only reason I took half a point off is because they don't stay open for 24 hours like other conventions such as Anime Central and Anime Magic. It is a minor nitpick, but I do understand that people need to maintain these cabinets and games since they are being played with for hours and days, and since they're vintage, parts would be hard to come by should they break. The Costume Parade gets a 4 out of 5. I participated in the Costume Parade last year, but didn't get a new costume done in time, nor did I sign up online where G-Fest emphasized entries through their website. Attendees remember the main stage seating and outdoor area to see all contestants, but G-Fest added live streaming in the movie screening room across the arcade for those who couldn't find seats or a good spot to view the parade. I spent most of the Costume Parade in the live streaming room and saw a few complications, from the lack of sound in some parts to the small screen, which is hard to see for people in the back row. Overall, it was an entertaining event with fantastic costumes from all contestants. The movie screenings at the Pickwick Theater get a 5 out of 5. Despite the location, distance, time to get there, long lines, and postponing the showing to replay trailers in the pre-showing, it is worth going at least once. I attended the Final Wars screening for my first Pickwick Theater outing, and it was a fantastic experience. The theater had a nice retro classic look with an elegant ceiling art. The main theater had enough seats for 800 people, and they were all cheering, laughing, and having a great time whenever Godzilla, Kaiju, or main human characters show up. It's something you have to experience in person. Tickets are reasonably priced, and Lyft and Uber rides are not as expensive unless if you know someone with a car. This is the only time I went to see the select movie showings. I wished I had been there for Mecha Godzilla, Space Godzilla, and XXIX, but I was happy with one showing for my G-Fest experience, and I would love to see more next year. The Model Thread and Art Room gets a 5 out of 5. Kaiju World is a big vendors hall, Kaiju Island is a small artist alley, and the Mecha G arcade is, well, an arcade. The Model Thread and Art Rooms are like the pop-up galleries in an art museum. Artists of all ages bring their sketches, posters, sculptures, and dioramas for every attendee to see. You look at the familiar Kaiju and Mecha, and then you get to see the custom original ideas that stand out, from full-fledged fight scenes to iterations of classic Kaiju. It's cool to view entries, their attention to detail, stylization, and dedication to their craft. One minor nitpick is that some entries arrive a day or so later, which means people miss out on it if they only attended Friday versus the entire weekend. I felt that the Model Thread and Art Rooms were quieter and less intense than Kaiju World and the Mecha G Arcade, which shows how relaxing these rooms can be when you need to take a break from shopping. Okay, so I might get a little flack for this, so hear me out. Special Guest gets a 3.5 out of 5. If you enjoyed the guest lineup for this year, more power to you. This is nothing against the people that showed up for this year's G-Fest. Actually, unlike previous years, I interacted with a few of them. I get to talk about how much I like their work and got a couple of pictures and an autograph. While it was nice to meet them, I felt that last year had better guests. Not just G-Fest, but at All Monsters Attack, another Kaiju-themed event on the rise. So if you're new or unfamiliar with the Kaiju and Tokusatsu fandom, then this isn't for you. But it's great for those that are returning or familiar with their work. I appreciate the guests who appeared this time, but special guests and autographs isn't a big thing for me, especially when I'm more focused on Kaiju World. Also, the room was in an entirely new spot compared to last year, which had more space but needed a bigger sign for those that didn't see the guidebook map and wanted to find special guests for autographs and photo ops. Now that I think about it, G-Fest can benefit from bigger signs to guide new visitors. Because I spent most of my time at Kaiju World, I only attended one panel on toy design with James Grauman, which I enjoyed from beginning to end. As an aspiring toy designer, I learned about Grauman's design process and his methods for producing sketches and physical prototypes, which were helpful and informative. I plan to attend other panels with friends, but we are all burnt out by the vendors hall, arcade, and walks to the Fashion Outlet Mall food court. Therefore, I will not give a rank to panels. Now this leaves my overall rank for this year's Godzilla Fest to be a 4.3 out of 5 Godzillas. Many great events and activities for the whole family, but a few issues that hold it back and can be improved upon for next year. Godzilla Fest is one of my top favorite conventions, and I always recommend it to friends and family who haven't gone. It's the biggest Godzilla fan gathering in the US for over 2 decades. I enjoyed this year more than previous outings, not because of the events, the toys, the movie showings, but because of the wonderful people I met during that weekend. Whether I knew them from mutuals on Instagram, Godzilla content creators, or families attending for the first time, all of those people made this year memorable. To the people who recognized my cosplay from last year when I made that speech at the costume parade, my Road to G-Fest videos that I sent out last minute, and my toy photography page, I don't see myself as someone who makes a positive impact on the Godzilla community. I may have told you that I'm just a simple guy who loves to collect figures and make everyone's experience welcoming and fun. But I'm grateful and appreciative that my work gets people excited, entertained, and ecstatic for Godzilla Fest and anything Godzilla related. I want to continue making awesome content for you all, whether it's another con vlog, a short film, tips for an upcoming event, or a toy post. But thank you for being patient with me while I recover from the past week and a half. Interacting with all of you motivates me to make new content, help Godzilla fans, unleash my creative ideas, and be comfortable talking about my passion with all things Godzilla. To those who have discovered my channels, followed my tips, said hello around the convention, and enjoyed my work, I appreciate the support and kind words. I hope you all had a fantastic time at G-Fest. I'm not sure when I'll get a G-Fest haul video out, but it could be either a full-length video or a bunch of shorts. Until then, thank you so much for staying along for the ride. Let me know about your G-Fest experience, what you liked, what you think could improve, and if you plan on going next year. I'd love to hear people's thoughts about G-Fest 2024. Feel free to subscribe to my channel or follow me on Instagram. So have a nice day and stay tuned for more on Bat Productions or The Obscure Brother. This is Captain Glasses, signing off.